A Mother's Tears. Margaret had always dreamed of the day her son, Daniel, would find someone to love and share his life with. She had spent countless nights imagining a joyful wedding, a new daughter to welcome into the family, and perhaps even grandchildren to spoil with affection. When Daniel introduced Emily, a charming and vibrant young woman, Margaret's heart soared. She saw in Emily the promise of the family she had always envisioned. The initial meetings were pleasant. Emily was polite, if a bit distant, but Margaret chalked it up to nerves. After all, merging two families was never easy. She made every effort to be welcoming, inviting Emily over for dinners, sharing family stories, and even gifting her a cherished family heirloom, a delicate silver bracelet that had belonged to Margaret's own mother. As the wedding date approached, however, Margaret began to notice subtle changes in Emily's behavior. The polite distance turned into cold indifference, and sometimes outright disdain. Emily would make snide comments about Margaret's cooking, criticize her home decor, and even make fun of her old-fashioned ways. Margaret tried to brush it off, hoping that once the stress of the wedding was behind them, things would improve. The breaking point came one evening during a family dinner. Emily, with a smirk on her face, casually mentioned how she and Daniel planned to move far away after the wedding. The news was a shock to Margaret, who had always hoped her son would stay close. Her eyes welled up with tears as she tried to express her sadness. Emily laughed. "Oh, come on, Margaret. You're such a fake mother. You act like you care so much, but we all know you're just trying to control Daniel." The room fell silent. Daniel looked mortified, but he didn't speak up. Margaret felt a sharp pain in her chest, as if Emily's words had physically struck her. She excused herself from the table and retreated to her bedroom, the sound of Emily's laughter echoing in her ears. Margaret spent the next few days in a daze, replaying the incident over and over in her mind. She had always prided herself on being a good mother, supportive and loving. How could Emily see her as fake? She knew she needed to talk to Daniel to make him understand how deeply she had been hurt. When she finally gathered the courage, she found Daniel alone in the living room. "Daniel, we need to talk," she said softly, sitting down beside him. Daniel looked up, his eyes filled with guilt. "Mom, I'm so sorry about what Emily said. I didn't know what to do. Daniel, I need you to understand that I have always tried to do what's best for you. I love you more than anything in this world," Margaret said, her voice trembling. "But Emily's words hurt me deeply. She called me a fake mother. Do you think that of me too?" "No, Mom, of course not," Daniel replied, taking her hands in his. "I know you've always had my best interests at heart. Emily was out of line, and I should have defended you." Margaret sighed, feeling a mix of relief and sorrow. "Daniel, I want you to be happy. And if Emily is the one you want to spend your life with, I will support you. But I can't let her disrespect me like that. We need to find a way to move forward as a family." Daniel nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He knew he had to talk to Emily to make her see that Margaret was an integral part of their lives, and that respect was non-negotiable. In the weeks that followed, Daniel had several heart-to-heart conversations with Emily. It wasn't easy, and there were many tears and heated arguments. But slowly, Emily began to see things from Margaret's perspective. She realized that her own insecurities and fear of losing Daniel had fueled her harsh words and actions. One evening, Emily showed up at Margaret's door, holding the silver bracelet. "Margaret, I owe you an apology," she said, her voice sincere. "I was wrong to say those things, and I want to make amends. Can we start over?" Margaret looked at Emily, seeing the vulnerability and regret in her eyes. She took a deep breath and nodded. "Yes, Emily, we can start over. Let's build this family together." The road to healing was long, but with time and effort, Margaret and Emily found common ground. They learned to appreciate each other's strengths and differences, and most importantly, they learned to respect and love one another. Margaret's tears of pain turned into tears of joy as she watched her family grow and thrive, united by love and understanding. Margaret immersed herself in hobbies she had once put aside. Gardening became her solace, each bloom a testament to her resilience. She joined a book club, finding companionship in the stories she read and the friends she made. Emily, noticing Margaret's efforts to carve out a new chapter for herself, felt inspired. Emily suggested they take a cooking class together, hoping to bond over something new. Margaret agreed. And every Tuesday evening, they would don their aprons and learn to create culinary masterpieces. These moments became cherished memories, bridging the gap that had once seemed insurmountable. Daniel, witnessing the growing bond between his mother and his wife, felt immense relief. He planned a family trip to the countryside, a chance for them to reconnect away from the daily grind. The trip was filled with laughter, long walks, and heart-to-heart conversations by the campfire. Margaret shared stories of Daniel's childhood, and Emily opened up about her own fears and insecurities. They discovered that beneath their differences lay a shared desire for family and connection. As the years passed, the family grew. Margaret became a doting grandmother, her home filled with the joyful chaos of children. Emily and Margaret would often sit together, watching the kids play, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had taken from animosity to affection. In her twilight years, Margaret reflected on the unexpected turns her life had taken. She realized that her relationship with Emily had made her stronger, more compassionate, and more understanding. It had taught her that love isn't always easy, but it is always worth fighting for. One sunny afternoon, as Margaret tended to her garden, Emily joined her. They worked side by side in comfortable silence, the air filled with the scent of blooming roses. Emily paused and looked at Margaret, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Margaret," she said softly, "for everything." Margaret smiled, her heart full. "No, thank you, Emily, for making our family complete." And so, the story of Margaret and Emily became a testament to the power of forgiveness, the strength of family bonds, and the enduring nature of love. They had turned a painful beginning into a beautiful journey, proving that even the deepest wounds can heal with time, understanding, and a lot of heart. When Margaret's future daughter-in-law, Emily, calls her a fake mother and laughs at her tears, it shatters her dreams of a close-knit family. As tensions rise and misunderstandings grow, Margaret and Emily must navigate a tumultuous relationship. Through heartfelt conversations, shared experiences, and the power of forgiveness, they transform their animosity into a bond of love and respect. From tears to triumph, A Mother's Journey is a poignant tale of resilience, family, and the healing power of understanding,